All right, welcome everyone. Another episode of It's Still Real to Me, and of course, everything Zaslow Show 2.0, including It's Still Real to Me, our wrestling podcast, is brought to us by the title sponsor of everything Zaslow Show 2.0, Anna Jar and Levine, Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. You're involved in any kind of an accident, hit and run, motorcycle accident, slip and fall. First, you call 911. You want to make sure everything's okay. And then you get Anna Jar and Levine on the phone. Let them put their skill set to work for you. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. My pal is Joey Levin. He's here with us. We're coming at you. We are live, so remember, make sure you have your notifications on. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're getting this notification on Twitter, you can go to YouTube, wherever you're going to catch us. We like that. Just make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube channel and you have your notifications turned on. And this way you could ask questions. You could participate in the show. We always like that. We'd like to incorporate some questions if we get enough of them. And let's bring aboard our pal here, Joey Levin, who is my partner for every episode. Joey, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. Long night last night of wrestling, so I'm ready to lock it in. But man, these AEW events are long.
Yeah, so they're trying to give you your money's worth. All right, 5 hours just about last night, not counting the pre-show. All right. 5 hours AEW Full Gear, and of course we're going to give you a full recap of Full Gear here, and we're also going to go over a few things that happened in WWE this week. So again, we appreciate you hanging out with us live. If you're watching live, if you're listening, that means I already uploaded the podcast, so you're listening to it. That's okay too. We love however you're getting it, and of course, want to make sure there's so much going on right now. All your favorite pro sports leagues are going on. The hoops, the college basketball. Bet Online remains your top spot for all your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL, all in full swing. And Bet Online is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. All the hoops betting action, along with every sport available at your fingertips, both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to Bet Online today. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV, and you'll get 50% off. 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, Joey, first, we'll do Full Gear recap here. I don't think we're going to recap the whole show. We're going to go over the big stuff. And then we got a few things from WWE from this week as they're building toward Survivor Series, which is going to be next week. And so a real great couple weeks in the world of pro wrestling. Overall, I thought Full Gear was a really good show. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really fun. AEW has a little bit of that reputation going right now where, it's things going on backstage. Maybe it's not put so well together. And this happened also at Wembley Stadium, right? But when it's time to go, when the lights go on, they put on really good shows, man.
I think, yeah. The wrestling is always really good. The matches are always really good. But yeah, I'm one of those people. I feel like they do have problems with their storytelling. And I actually think last night was one of those nights where some of the storytelling was just like absurd. But again, the matches were good. It was a fun show. But just like, we're probably going to talk about it first. Even the main event, the story of that, how that all went down, to me was like, what the hell's happening here? Like, what's going on?
So let's talk about that. So I happened to turn on the show. What was I doing yesterday? There was college football going on. I went to the movies in the afternoon with my son, and I had to go drop him off somewhere. By the time I got home and I was able to kind of sit down and finally relax, it was like the very end of 0 hour. So I was able to catch, the very end and what went down. Adam Cole comes to the ring and Samoa Joe, MJF, and then he gets beat up by the Guns. All right. And so he gets taken away in the ambulance, and it's, don't let them take the belt from me. And it's like, all right, that's interesting. We'll see what's going to happen now. That's a little bit more intrigue now. It's the main event. What the hell is going to happen? But I will tell you, I started to get really nervous when they officially announced that it was going to be Adam Cole facing Jay White. I was like, I can't believe they're actually going to I guess I fell for it. I can't believe
I guess they got you. I guess they got you. My brother just texted me. I was like, there's no shot. This is, come on.
They got me.
He just had surgery like a week ago. Like, this is impossible.
Well, but you know what?
Or 2 weeks ago, whatever.
No, but you know what? I didn't necessarily think, okay, Adam Cole's cleared to wrestle. I thought, all right, there's going to be some kind of shenanigans, and it's Adam Cole versus Jay White. He's clearly not able to wrestle yet, but there's going to be some shenanigans. So I'm thinking to myself, this is like the ultimate bait and switch, because I paid $50 for this show. The main reason I got the show was, MJF. I'm not just saying this, was for MJF versus Jay White. That's why I was okay plunking over the money. I thought I was getting a total bait and switch.
Can I tell you right now, as much as I love wrestling, and MJF's the reason I'm watching professional wrestling right now. I mean, there's some good stuff going on, but there's nothing like what he's doing. And because of that, I didn't think there was any chance, period.
I fell for it.
No way. Like, there was no, I didn't think so. I just didn't think there was a way. But because I didn't think there was a way, I also just, the whole time, I'm like, I understand this was like a way to bring back Adam Cole, get the pop. The crowd loves Adam Cole. Let's get Adam Cole involved. He hasn't been around for a while. No one expected him to be there. So a way to get him involved, but like from a storytelling perspective. So, and this is where I was saying, like, the storytelling is all over the place. So he gets beat up. They break his leg. They break his knee. They do whatever they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
MJF is screaming, "Don't let them take my belt."
Right.
In what world, in what professional wrestling world, do they just strip the champion of his belt because he got attacked? That doesn't happen. That's not a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he thought maybe, all right, if you can't perform, you forfeit. You
forfeit. He got attacked. It's not like he just was like, I'm not fighting. All right. So by the way, shout out Victor, our friend Victor. What's up, boys? Finally catching the show. And Victor said, hey, I was confused because I didn't see 0 Hour. And that's another thing.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's a problem with AEW. A lot of people, I don't even think, knew that MJF
I usually don't watch 0 Hour. I happen to catch it.
So let me tell you, because at last time he defended the tag titles, he opened the show. He opened the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Or they opened the pay-per-view. So I assumed they're opening the pay-per-view. For some reason, earlier in the day, I looked at the card and I saw that it was on 0 Hour. I think that's the way
it was when they fought with the tag titles. I think it was also 0 Hour then, man. I do not think it was on the main card.
I thought it opened the card.
I thought it also opened 0 Hour. I think,
or maybe I knew that then and I didn't know it now. But either way, I didn't know it was going to be on 0 Hour. So I'm glad I caught it. But then, so you have that, right? He gets beat up. He's screaming.
Did they not show replays like throughout the show?
Off the top of the show, they were like, if you missed 0 Hour, but again, if you didn't tune in right at the top of the show, it could have been confusing, because right off the top of the show, Excalibur was like, if you weren't tuned into 0 Hour, you missed MJF was attacked. He's in the hospital, blah, 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 blah. And then they do the thing with so Shivani comes out with your boy. You love Remsburg. That was Remsburg, right? That he brought out.
He stinks. He
brings out
Remsburg. He stinks.
And did you notice? Well, you had to notice. They played the wrong music for Jay White. They played the Guns music, and he was screaming about it. He's like, "I'm the champion."
You know what? I saw
you didn't
that.
Play my music.
Yes, I saw that.
They played the Guns
I thought it
music.
was. I thought it was. I thought it was a gag, because I must have walked away for a moment and I heard Jay White yelling something about his music. I'm the champ. I thought it was part of the show.
No, he was like, I'm the champ and you don't play my music. This is not my music. He was screaming. And
funny.
I bet he really was angry because it wasn't his music. It was so stupid.
Can I tell you something,
AEW does that.
Can I tell you something, though? So you thought it was strange storytelling with MJF afraid that they were going to give away his belt. How about when the match has been made official? It's Adam Cole, who is on crutches, who is not cleared to wrestle. All right. Is fighting MJF. They're in the ring. Jay White. They're in the ring. They're about to start the match. In one corner is someone who is in an air boot, who is on crutches and not cleared to wrestle.
Just had surgery.
When MJF pulled up to the arena in the ambulance, and he got out of the ambulance and he's making his way down the ramp,
50 people.
There's about there's 50 people who are begging and pleading with him not to wrestle. They were just about to ring the bell and allow Adam Cole, who is on crutches and not cleared to wrestle. That's weird. That's a goof.
That was where I was going next.
That's a goof.
I'm watching this and I'm like, hold on. Adam Cole, real life surgery, real life injured, terrible,
they're
major
totally
surgery.
Okay with him wrestling.
Tony Khan, nowhere to be found, but said that Adam Cole could wrestle.
That's weird.
But then MJF, the champ, shows up with a fake injury, obviously.
No.
And 15 backstage people are begging him not to wrestle.
That's a total.
I was like, what the hell are we? What is this story that we're telling right now? What's the story that MJF? What was happening, man? It was crazy.
So putting aside the bullshit, match was great, right? Match was great.
Yeah, I mean, man, MJF, it always is. It always is. He's just. Where was Juice, by the way? Did they say why Juice Robinson wasn't there?
I don't know.
Something.
I do hope. Yeah, I do hope we get to a place though, where Jay White is the champion one day. I think he'd be such a great champion. I think it's shown over the last month. He'd be such a great champion. But because I told you since Jay White had the belt,
right,
there was no part of me that thought he was going to win. You got to have them when you win the championship, especially for the first time. You have to have the moment. You have to have that promo. You got to have the shot of being handed the belt the very first time. And Jay White's been running around with that belt for a month. So the moment was MJF getting his belt back. And that's why he was always going to win.
But I think there was something to this. I think probably Tony Khan or whoever booked the match, whoever wrote the match, probably was probably thinking something similar to what we're thinking, which is we all know Jay White's winning this match. So to me, it's like maybe they did the injury angle to at least during the match give you a sense that maybe MJF could win or lose. I'm sorry.
I never thought it.
Right. But the way they executed it by putting Adam Cole in there and MJF and that whole thing was so weird. I mean, what do you think about this? Victor says it's not a great look to make he says Jay White can't beat a guy on one leg. Makes Jay White look weak AF.
Yeah, I understand your rationale and where you're coming from, but to be perfectly honest, there's no part of me that 24 hours later has had that thought. I haven't said to myself, wow, Jay White was weak. So I understand your point, but I don't agree.
I get what he's saying too. And you know why I don't have that thought either? Because I never thought he was going to win in the first place.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
I think that's probably part of it. It's like if you thought he had a chance, but then they had him not go over on a weaker guy.
Right
now, it's like, oh, what do you
never thought he had a chance?
But we never thought.
Match was great though.
I'd still contend it's going to go. It may end up going down in history. Kangaroo kick is the most over move in professional wrestling, and it's got a chance to be one of the most over moves ever. It's amazing.
Are we?
Although he did it in the tag match, but still.
Yeah. Are we certain yet that Adam Cole is the devil? I feel like that's where we're headed.
I think there were a couple things he did during the match that made me feel that way.
Yeah, like what?
Like basically giving his Ring of Honor title to Jay White, basically giving the Dynamite Diamond ring to Jay White. Like kind of like we're going to talk about Santos Escobar later, right? But kind of the way you pointed out immediately, like, look, Santos left the brass knuckles on the ring. It's like, wait, did Adam Cole really want to hit Jay White, or was he like kind of just like, oh, here you go, my bad, and trying to set up MJ? Like those were a couple times that happened, and I was like, maybe they're teasing something here. But I don't know. I don't know if
this is going to be stretched out to the pay-per-view next month, right? Don't they have? Is it World's End is December? Like that's when we're going to get the reveal, right?
I guess I thought they would at least do something to tease the devil on this show. I'm shocked there was no sign of the devil anywhere on the whole show. Didn't you think they would at least show? Maybe at the end the lights go off and you see the devil. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think you were able to do that because you could say that the devil was standing at the ring the whole time in the main event.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
One of the devils. One of them.
Or one of them. Yeah. Or one of them. Yeah. Match was great.
They're saying, by the way, what Meltzer or whoever is reporting it is saying that the people that are playing the person playing the devil and the people that are like the devil's crew are the actual people who will be in this group.
Good.
Like, you know how like in WWE when they did Retribution, when they were teasing it, it was just a bunch of like jobbers and whatever. And then it was the people. They're saying like, no, for this, the people that are doing it are the people that are going to be, revealed.
Good. Were you surprised that Will Osprey was the big signing?
I no, not at all. I mean, it was
because I guess what were the names being thrown out? It was Will Osprey, it was Mercedes Moné,
Dolph.
It was
Ryback.
Ryback. Jesus, I didn't hear that one.
A lot of people asking for Ryback.
Jesus. I mean, I guess Ronda Rousey, at this point. Yeah. I think we're all glad it was Will Osprey, right? Like that's awesome, obviously.
Yes. But it's another case of AEW like giving me this big tease for something that I already felt like I knew was going to happen. Like
I don't know. I didn't feel like I knew it. Like I just said, I went through a few names. I didn't know who was going to come out.
No. I'm not saying that who was going to be the person. I just always knew Will Osprey was going to end up in AEW. So it wasn't like, to me, it was like, it's awesome. He's great. And he's going to do great things in AEW. But it just felt like, I mean, man, like we know he's going to be like,
I'm excited to be able to watch him every week, though.
Like, I would have been cool.
I mean, yeah.
I think it would have been cool to do that on Dynamite. Let the people who
I like doing it there. You paid a lot of money for the event. I like doing it there.
Yeah.
People paid a lot of money for that show.
I think he still has a non-compete, probably, Dolph, but I would have loved if the swerve was that Dolph also debuted last night. That would have been cool.
Well, remember they did that with Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson when they both debuted, and that shit was.
Can you imagine? Crazy. By the way, can you imagine Will Ospreay's first feud in AEW being Dolph Ziggler? It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Will Osprey. So I guess once we get closer to Revolution, that's when he's going to start being there full time. Because he mentioned he's got to finish up with New Japan, so he's not quite ready to join them yet. So we're still a few months away, and Revolution I believe is in March. Yeah. So maybe around February we'll start getting him. Every month.
He said he's got to finish up his run.
Yeah, he's still under contract. He signed an 8-year deal.
Be patient, bro. Be patient, bro.
Yeah, I thought he was great. I'm excited to see him every week. The main, like, if we were to look at this card several years from now and say, what was the thing that stood the test of time, and what do we remember the most? It's going to be Hangman and Swerve. Because now look, that match was fucking violent, dude. And it was really bloody. And there was a moment in the match that I just tweeted out, this match is violent. And I
was genuinely concerned for many moments of that match. I was scared for Swerve at point. He was bleeding a lot.
He was bleeding a lot. And I don't normally love that type of violence, but I was okay with it here because I thought it really was part of the story. I thought it worked for the story that they were telling, that they've been telling. And I think that it's going to be a really big moment. I think it was a big moment because when Swerve won, and I thought Hangman was definitely winning the match. All right. I was surprised that Swerve won, and I'm glad that Swerve won because when he was walking up that ramp, man, and they were showing him and the carnage that was left behind, dude, that felt like a really big moment. I think we're going to look back on that. I think that was a major star-making moment for Swerve Strickland, and I didn't exactly expect it to work out like that. I thought it was a really big deal, that match.
And this is back-to-back shows now. I mean, the show in Seattle where he was basically at home, and the crowd was totally behind him, 100%.
I think it's a big deal.
And now look, if we go back to our bold predictions for this year, my bold prediction was that by this time, Hangman would be in a feud with MJF for the title because I thought Hangman was the future of this company. And I think a lot of people still not necessarily future because he was already a champion and he's been around for a long time, but I thought he was the guy to sort of like get that title back, make that run. And I think a lot of people see him that way. The crowd, everybody loves Hangman.
Well, it's a much more vicious version of Hangman, which he referenced recently that like, he's not fucking around anymore. Like he's Hangman Adam Page now.
By the way, shout out Giovanni catching the show live.
What's up, playa?
Says Dolph versus Osprey at All In. Take my money. Hey, money. Take my money. That'd be incredible. But yes, Swerve. I mean, he's doing some of the best work in the company. He has been for a while now, and I do think it was interesting. I think the crowd was probably just as much behind him as Hangman.
Yeah, maybe 50-50. Yep.
And Prince Nana, the entrance, man.
Yep, I love Prince Nana, man. And you know what I also loved? That's not an accident.
When Hangman said he was going to steal his weed on.
Well, yeah, it's stealing his weed was. I was watching it live. I was like, that shit's funny, man.
Yeah.
But when Swerve left on his own, that's not an accident, man.
There was a point in the match where
Prince Nana's getting like a little bit too over, and to keep Swerve like a heel, he's gonna get rid of Prince Nana.
That, or there was a part in the match where I was like, I could see these guys being friends now.
Swerve and Hangman?
Yeah. Like
Swerve gave him a home invasion.
Yeah, I know, but it's, home invasions happen. I'm sure Seth Rollins and Edge are good friends now.
Not gonna be friends.
There was a part of the match where I was like, all right, after they basically almost homicide each other, like, are they now going to be like, there's like a respect now?
I don't think so.
I know. Well, I'm just saying there was a part of me that, because again, we're getting to the point with Swerve where how much further can you go with him as a heel if the crowd all just love him? I mean, he almost killed Hangman. Hangman almost killed him. They were cheering for Swerve.
I mean, look, like I said,
it wasn't his hometown; it was LA.
Right, but like I said, he could beat the shit out of Prince Nana, and people are not going to like that.
Maybe
that's not going to get a good reaction if he does that.
That's true. But okay,
I mean, after the match ended, I got up. I got up.
Are they done with them? Are they done? You think?
Hangman and Swerve?
Yeah,
have to be. I got up off my couch, man, at the end of the match. My son was sitting there watching me, and I'm doing it, man. Like, after he won, I mean, like, fucking over Prince Nana. People are not going to like it if Swerve turns on him. That's how you keep it going.
How about when Hangman, they're standing on the apron, and Hangman grabs him, and Nana just goes to try to get him to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I'm your buddy. Yeah. Look.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah,
I thought that was by far the biggest moment of the night. Or was
they almost had. I don't know. Obviously, the barbed wire is not like real barbed wire, but there was that
in Hangman's face at one point.
I was gonna say that was almost a fucking disaster. That part that could have been really bad for Hangman.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't know what it's actually made of, and I don't know how real it is, but it almost like it could have like ripped his eyelid or something. It looked bad the way, because it's not supposed to come off the bat like that. That was obviously an accident. But it looked like it, I mean, off of the chair, I should say. But that looked rough. I mean, the whole match was, the staple thing was him stapling.
Oh, I thought it was cool as hell when he started stapling himself. And that was like, oh shit, like
Swerve.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
The two parts of, but I'll say this, Swerve was awesome when he just sort of like, I guess it's his version of hulking up, where like now he just doesn't feel pain. Mm-hmm. But I will say the two moments for me were Hangman stapling his son's finger paintings on cool. Swerve's face.
I liked it.
And then Hangman drinking Swerve's blood and then spraying it all over the place.
Yeah.
I was like, that's one of the most badass things I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. And I don't I'm like you. I don't generally like these kind of matches.
Right. I'm
very similar to you. But that moment, and then he had the blood all over his face. He looked like an insane human.
I just thought it really worked. I thought the match really worked.
But it's the story. I mean, what tends to happen in AEW is there's just a lot of bleeding and violence for no reason.
Yeah.
But this was such a good story. I mean, this was such a good story. And it had to go like this, right? He home invaded him. You get bloody. You get blood. You get stapled. You get home invaded. Right. You get stapled.
You get my son's finger paint stapled to your cheek.
Exactly.
That's what happens.
Yep.
All right, before we continue on here, guys, one of our great sponsors, Matthew H. Mashler, Signature Real Estate Finder, huge pro wrestling fan, one of the founders of BRCW, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. They do a lot of work with my man Nelio, CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling as well. But anyway, Matthew H. Mashler, he is our official real estate broker on It's Still Real to Me. Signature Real Estate Finder. If you're looking for your dream home in any part of South Florida, Matthew H. Mashler, your trusted real estate broker. He's got over a decade of experience, specializes in luxury homes. He's a certified luxury home marketing specialist. So if you're thinking about getting a new home, or maybe you're already in the real estate business and you want to take your real estate career to the next level, you can join the Signature team. The Signature Real Estate companies are South Florida's industry leaders, ranked #1 in Boca Raton, one of the tops in the entire state of Florida, offices all throughout the state. including Del Rey and Parkland, Palm Beach, Naples, Miami, Orlando, a whole lot more. The signature team is where you want to be. So you could be looking to buy your dream home. Matthew H. Mashler, 561-208-3334. You're looking to sell your home. Matthew H. Mashler, realestatefinder.com, or maybe you're just looking to join the best in the business. Contact Matthew H. Mashler, 561-208-3334, realestatefinder.com. Your pathway to exceptional real estate experiences, Matthew H. Mashler. Shout out to our guy Neil as well, as we want to send out good vibes to him. So let's do a little bit more here on Full Gear from last night. Were you stunned that Moxley did not win the international title?
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's almost a case again. I think because Tony Khan, I think look, he writes the show still. From my understanding, he's still the booker. He's still the one writing the show. And at the end of the day, even though he's rich and he has a lot of money and he's a wrestling fan, and I think he thinks like a wrestling fan. And I think this is a case of him trying to outthink the wrestling fans.
Could be right.
I think he probably thought, oh, everyone thinks Mox is just going to win. Definitely. So you know what? I'm going to have Orange Cassidy win.
But you know what? That's kind of why I liked it. I liked that it wasn't what I definitely thought it was going to be. So I kind of liked it. You know, it was weird because, all right, what about the direction you were originally planning to go in? I'd like to see that story play out because you put the belt on Moxley for a reason. What was it, like a month and a half ago? And then you had, it fucked up with Rey Fenix, and then he wins the title there. Well, I want to see what your plan was for Moxley. So let's work our way back to Moxley getting the belt back. And he just decided to pull the rug out from under us. And I like that I was surprised there, but I also kind of wanted to know what was the original plan going to be, and now we're not going to find out.
Right, and now it's like and then now what's the and so now what do? We go back to Orange Cassidy opening every single AEW show and defending the international title every single time. That's the reason we wanted it off of him in the first place was because it's enough. There's nothing else to do with him.
Yeah,
I mean, unless him and Hook turn on each other. Now we got to have him and Hook. Maybe that.
I was really surprised. Toni Storm wins the TBS title, which
Toni Storm won the women's title.
I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. Julia Hart won the TBS title. I was really surprised at that because I thought if anything it had been Sky Blue that was going to win it, but that's cool. Julia Hart's great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Toni Storm wins, and I think that's what we all wanted. The part that I'm surprised about with Toni Storm winning was, why did they just have her take it from Saraya? Like, it didn't mean a whole lot to me that Toni Storm, like, Hikaru Shida was a transition champion. That's it. She was just a placeholder. But why? Like, Toni Storm winning the title from Saraya would have meant so much more than winning it from Hikaru Shida. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess when it happened, this character hadn't sort of totally developed to where it is now. So maybe
they weren't going to go in this direction.
Well, no, I'm just saying maybe we needed that to happen to get this character that now is like universally loved. Everybody loves the timeless Toni Storm character. So maybe that's what it was. It obviously would have meant more beating Saraya, but at least it happened. I mean, I think this is where everybody wanted to go. I was interested to know your thoughts on the finish because I know you tend to be down on AEW officiating and like,
it sucks.
She blatantly cheated, and the announcers are trying to play it off like the referee didn't see her cheat. Like, I mean that it was. I mean, how could you not see it? She had a fucking pan on her ass. I mean,
I thought I thought you could easily believe the referee didn't see it. I mean, it was in her tights. Yeah,
but
I know it was sticking out, but
it was in tights.
Her tights.
I don't know. It just seemed very blatantly obvious. I don't know.
I was wondering though, like why is she? Because she put it in her tights like several minutes before she ended up using it. Like, why is she doing that?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm telling you, I think whatever they're doing with her and Mariah May is going to be good. That I like her coming out to the ring, giving her the flowers. That storyline I'm very interested in. I like Mariah May she's good. So I think that's going to be a fun storyline.
Anything else from Full Gear that I haven't gotten to yet before we do a few things from WWE this week?
I mean, Kenny and Jericho are the number one contenders now, the Golden Jets.
Oh yeah, and like the Young Bucks, like you know what? I never know the difference between the two of them. I don't know which one's Matt and which one's Nick, but I mean, the one of them that was so pissed off, it's just because like Kenny's not their friend anymore, so that's why he was really angry.
Well, I think he's angry because he is their friend and Jericho's not, and he's teaming with Jericho. But I think they've been teasing that the Young Bucks are gonna have turn heel here at some point soon.
I like them so much better as heels because I find them unlikable in general. So I don't want to have to like them. I like it when they're heels.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how long can this Kenny Omega Jericho tag team last? I don't know. It doesn't seem like a long-term thing, but now they're going to get a title shot, I guess, against Big Bill and Ricky Starks, who also to me was like, they never, like, FTR never should have lost. I thought FTR would get the titles back.
It's weird.
I don't, yeah, just a weird.
Let me leave you with this though. Obviously we're headed in a direction. I mean, it's going to be in almost a year from now where Will Osprey is going to be in the main event at Wembley Stadium. Who is he going to be fighting?
Could be MJF.
MJF's going to be a champion until that long, or it's multiple title reigns?
When is that? That's August, right?
Yeah, we're like 10 months away. It's a while. But he's obviously going to be in the main event. It
feels like MJF or Adam Cole, because I just don't see anybody beating MJF other than Adam Cole.
Okay.
And an eventual turn by Adam Cole.
2 years in a row for one of them, MJF and Adam Cole headlining that show.
And then the other question, I guess it also depends on, again, it's one of those things with Will Osprey where he's going to come in and everyone's going to love him, but is he a face or a heel? I don't really know. I guess so far since he's been in AEW, he's been the heel because he's fought Kenny Omega and he's been part of the Don Callis thing. So I guess he could be a heel. So a lot of that depends. But, you know, MJF, Adam Cole would be the obvious choices. Because I don't really know who a year from now who could be main eventing.
I mean, can you imagine? AEW. Can we get Edge versus Will Osprey?
Be pretty the main event of All In.
Be cool, man.
Or Bryan Danielson, I could see.
Haven't we already seen that?
Not main eventing All In.
No, I understand that, but haven't we? That's why I'm not saying Kenny Omega versus Will Osprey. We've seen it. Right. Haven't we already seen?
So you think it has to be something that hasn't been done?
I think it should be.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I guess we'll see who else is around by that time. What other? Maybe it's Dolph.
Maybe it's Dolph. I love him, but come on. Let's get to WWE here. Biggest story in WWE this week is Becky Lynch and Charlotte teaming back up for War Games. Am I right? Is that the biggest story we think in WWE this week?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that in the LWO and Santos Escobar having his music back.
I think, which is a banger of a theme song. I was so glad to see him come out to it again.
That's what I'm saying. That's big news. I mean,
it is.
That's a major moment for WWE because that's one of the best songs there is.
Well, so let's start with Becky though, and I guess I don't think this was on. Was it on the show? I don't think it was. Where Becky, I know, put it out on social media where she was getting a call on her cell phone from Charlotte. She kept hanging up on it. She doesn't want to talk to Charlotte. And then eventually she answered and she said, okay, I'll see you there. And then she shows up on SmackDown. Was that on the show or was that just an Instagram kind of thing?
I think that was just an Instagram thing. I don't remember.
Okay, I thought that was cool. I liked it. All right.
Yeah.
And so I'm into Becky being in this match because they're clearly not going to ignore the Becky Charlotte dynamic. Like, don't make me for a fool. Like, you have to, this has to be part of it somehow. There's been real tension for years now between the two of them. I want that part of the story. And even if it doesn't, mushroom during War Games, I'm all in on getting back to a place. Like, could we eventually get to a place? So I thought it was going to be Charlotte and Bianca at WrestleMania. I mean, can we get Charlotte and Becky at WrestleMania? Like, are we headed in a direction where the two of them may be okay with working together again? I mean, maybe they were always okay with working together because it's good business, but like, I like that they're now going to finally do something with this story because they haven't been working together or doing anything together since their real life fallout.
I don't see why not, other than the fact that we've discussed already on this show that there's like, as it currently stands, and we're about to be in December. As it currently stands, there are not many people on Raw who are fit to fight Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Like that's a main event type of match. Yep. Rhea Ripley's a main event type of star. The only person on the Raw roster currently that I could see being in a main event of WrestleMania with Rhea Ripley is Becky Lynch. So unless something changes in the next few months, who else could that be? That would be the only thing that, to me, could hold back a Becky Lynch Charlotte thing at WrestleMania, because they got to do something. There's got to be somebody for Rhea, unless somebody comes over from SmackDown or something like that. Like, how disappointing would it be if Rhea has this full 1 year run and the culmination of her first year as the women's champion, and she's fighting Raquel or Nia Jax or Zoe Stark? I mean, there's just no one there. So unless they're going to build someone between now and then, someone wins the Royal Rumble, I guess that could be it. They can win the Royal Rumble and then choose Rhea. Like, someone from SmackDown could win the Royal Rumble.
I think the two women's title pictures, and I understand Rhea's a champion and Io's a champion. I think the two women's titles on WrestleMania has to revolve around some kind of combination of Rhea, Becky, Bianca, Charlotte, Bayley. Those five. It could be a three-way over here and a singles over here, or maybe it's two singles matches. But those five, that's who it has to revolve around.
Here's what I got: Becky and Charlotte. That's one match. And now we're just fantasy booking WrestleMania. Becky and Charlotte. Bianca wins the Royal Rumble, chooses Rhea.
Two-time Rumble winner?
Chooses Rhea. Rhea and Bianca at Mania. Bayley and Io.
Can they wait that long to get to Bayley and Io? Because it's coming soon. They're kicking her out soon, though.
Yeah, I mean, they could. The other thing that could happen, I guess 4 months, because 4 months is a long time, would be a Io, Kyrie, Asuka triple threat. That'd be cool.
So let me transition over then to the damage control portion of it.
Right.
And obviously they are going to turn on Bayley, and it's going to be great. But I think we're also going to learn that Dakota Kai is like the new leader of damage control. I think Dakota Kai is going to be in charge of it, because Dakota Kai, you look at her history, man. She first turned on Tegan Nox out of nowhere in, I think, the first time they brought back War Games, like 4 years ago, whatever it was. Dakota Kai turned on Tegan Nox. Dakota Kai eventually turned on Raquel Gonzalez, now Raquel Rodriguez, of course. And I think we're going to get it here too. You know, she is, I think that's, because you look at them, all right, you understand the three Japanese girls. Where does Dakota Kai fit in? She fits in because she's the one who's going to wind up orchestrating this whole thing. And she's going to essentially be the leader of the group.
Well, and it's also because they just have to have someone who speaks English, right? Somebody has to speak English, right?
And I like that they're finally letting her talk some more. She's been talking a whole lot more.
She seemed a little shaky, though, on SmackDown. Like she seemed a little
She's
nervous.
a fantastic character, and I like that they're
really
featuring her more. I think she's going to be the leader of damage control, and I think we're going to learn that she orchestrated all of this. Yeah. And it was time to kick out Bayley. Like, I got to get rid of you. And I brought in Asuka, and I brought back Kairi Sane.
That's fine. That would be really good. Feels like Judgment Day. Feels like Judgment Day. Edge started Judgment Day, and then the young ones. Although Asuka's not young at all. Actually, none of the Io and Kairi aren't very young either. They've been wrestling in Japan forever. It's somebody has to be able to talk. I mean, although personally, I would just love a faction of Io, Asuka, and Kairi never speaking English and just screaming.
Oh, you know, I love it when they're just yelling at everyone in Japanese. I love that,
man. So I would love that. But yes, it feels like, based on what they did on SmackDown, this is where we're headed.
You mentioned that Nakamura and that Nakamura has been referencing someone. I didn't catch that part.
He just keeps on saying, "I'm waiting for." Like his last vignette was like, "I'm waiting for you. I'll be patient. I know you have something." It was like, "You have something to finish." Blah blah blah. But I'm here, and I will be the end.
Well, I know you said that that the internet's been talking about this. I mean, are they saying it's going to be Kazuchika Okada?
Yeah, or they think there's a possibility
because apparently him and Nakamura are very tight.
Yeah, well, they wrestled against each other in New Japan forever.
No, but apparently they're tight. So,
right.
Which is, I guess it would make sense because otherwise, like the WWE crowd's not going to know Okada, but I think if you can position it with Nakamura, it makes sense. And then you have a guy in Nakamura who tells him, listen, you're at this point in your career. You're older. I'm older too. I love it here. They pay me a lot of money. Like, it's cool. Come.
Right. And part of what they are saying is that obviously right now, they're saying like Triple H is really positioning the Japanese wrestlers in a strong way.
Clearly.
To show
yeah,
an Okada, like, hey, if you come here, it's not gonna be like when Vince just makes you guys like a gimmick, whatever.
That'd be cool.
Like you could be at the top of the card. And look, to me, this would be incredible. I told you, I forgot which AEW show it was. It was probably Forbidden Door. And when we did a reaction for Forbidden Door, either this year or I guess it wasn't last year, because I don't know if we were doing the show for Forbidden Door last year, but this year for sure, I said one of the great regrets in wrestling is going to be that Okada never had a major run in America, because he is just an absolute star. Anytime he comes out, any match he has, his entrance, the coins dropping, the rainmaker, everything about him, he is a star. And it would just be awesome to see him just get one run. And if it's against Nakamura, you know it's going to be. I
think they could make it work. The WWE fan, and granted he started NXT, didn't know who Nakamura is. The WWE fan, and granted he came straight to the main roster, didn't necessarily know who AJ Styles was. Right. And as long as they're great stars, like, I think they can make it work.
Yeah, yeah, and it a lot of it, and it also comes up. It also comes to like, where do you have them debut? What show is it? What city is it? If you do it in the right place, the crowd will know. Because there's obviously crowds. If you go to Chicago, if you go to this LA crowd that AEW just had, they obviously know a lot. I mean, like, there are certain cities, certain crowds that if you do it in the right place, it'll get the reaction that you're looking for. So that would be I would love it. I haven't been overly happy about what's his name, Omega's buddy, that the way AEW has brought him over. My mind's blanking right now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I want Kota Ibushi. But so I want to see Okada come over, be in America for a little while, and have like a really nice run, because I think people will really like him.
Wrestling's in a great spot right now. We're at a cool time of year. Full Gear I thought was really great last night. And Survivor Series, is Survivor Series Saturday night? Or is it Sunday
I believe
night?
so. I believe
it's the 25th. What's today? Oh, so it's Saturday night. Yep. Yeah. So that's Saturday night. We got War Games.
We got what about Santos? Santos Escobar.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about Santos real quick, too. Yeah, I thought his promo was really good. Zelina with the whole crying is huge. And I think Santos Escobar, he was a great heel when he was the leader of Legado del Fantasma. And he's got the music back, which fucking bangs, man. I love it. It's among the best theme songs in pro wrestling today. So he's got that back now. We can get out of silly LWO. I know people like it, but it's still silly. And yeah, Santos is going to be a great heel. I think it was a big moment for him separating from those guys. Yeah. I'm into it.
And I will point out, Tuesday, NXT, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo have a tag match, which they're not around much.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's interesting that they now all of a sudden.
You don't think he's going to rock solo for a little bit?
Maybe, but he's a leader. I mean, he tried to get, like, even on the Friday on SmackDown, he tried to get the other two guys back with him, and then they chose.
I hope they do it with Angel and Humberto. Angel Garza's fucking awesome, and they haven't done anything with him since his early NXT days.
But you know what would be even cooler? And I use cool as like cool because of Carlito.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what if it was cool?
What if Natural it was heel, man? But what if his guys that he brings it back to be in Legado, Primo and Epico, the Colognes? Carlito's
Oh,
family.
wow.
You took my family, I'll take your family.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Now that's cool.
Now that is cool. I hate that they changed his music. Or just the beginning of the music. Like, why do you have his old music? He looked by the way, he looked old running into the ring, man. He looked old.
So
he had that old man run.
We should do 2 shows next week. We should do a preview show and then of course do a recap show next Sunday after War Games, right?
We will attempt to. I'm traveling a lot this week, so hopefully I'm in a position to be able to. But yes, we should.
Yeah, that should be the plan.
I gotta say this one thing. I gotta jump back to AEW.
Yeah.
I hate that Ric Flair got involved physically in that match. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I know it's not a big deal. I know he didn't do a ton, but at any moment that guy could die. Like he has been on the brink of death many times. The last thing we need to see is Ric Flair die live on TV, and any physical activity could kill him. I don't think they should be putting him in a position to be physically involved in matches.
Can't help himself.
But they could stop it. They could tell him not. They could not allow him. Couldn't
it's
they?
like the movie The Wrestler, man. He wants to die in the ring. He does.
I know, but do they want that on their? I guess Tony Khan doesn't.
I would hope that they don't. I would hope that they don't want that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I would hope so too.
It would probably be controversial.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably would.
All right. Good job, Joey. So yeah, we'll try and do a War Games preview show. It's going to be a really fun show, man. And we'll
have one last question for you because everyone's asking. Everyone's asking. George M. Gonzalez is asking. Victor wants to know what's in the cup. Everyone's asking, Zaz.
What's in the cup? Oh, thank you. I appreciate you guys. What's up, George? Good to see you, man. This is Makers. This is Makers Mark. We started. Listen, I went to the Dolphin game today, and the drinks were a-flowing. Shout out Johnny Cuba, Are You Hungry Grill, my man Raul, my man Willie, Anastasia, everyone there. Of course, my man Juan, Johnny Cuba. We had a really good time today. And then Ticket Ninja style, last minute, got tickets on the on the secondary market. We walked right in. We had a great time. Saw my pals, Mark Anajar, Ellie Anajar from Anajar and Levine. Obviously, Zaslow Show 2.0 title sponsors. Saw them at the game too. Stopped by and said hello to them. So I had a full day, and I figured let's just keep the drinks flowing, man. And we're gonna go watch some Sunday Night Football.
You needed some drinks for that game because I was it wasn't the prettiest.
It got dicey, man. It was dicey.
It was a little dicey, but it is what it is. You don't want to lose that game going into next Friday. You don't want.
It was my first game of the year too. I hadn't been to a game yet, so it was fun. We had a great time, great tailgate. It was really fun. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, Joey. Excellent job, man. Tell all your fans that you'll see them when you see them. Go ahead.
We'll see you guys. Hopefully it's sometime. Hopefully we'll be able to go live on one of the next week's shows while I'm traveling the globe.
Yeah.
But hey, shout out to all the we got a nice little turnout today. I love everybody commenting. Shout out to the commenters on a Sunday night.
We're trying to grow. The timing could be good. Sunday night could be good timing, Yeah,
right after the 4 o'clock games, before the 8 o'clock,
good timing.
The night game, all the wrestling's done. Maybe this is the time.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody for hanging out. You're right, Martin. A win is a win, man. I'm not complaining. I had a good time today. I enjoyed myself. All right, guys. We'll talk to you on the next edition of It's Still Real to Me. Again, thanks Anajar and Levine. Thanks to Matthew H. Mashler, Signature Real Estate Finder, realestatefinder.com. Thanks a lot to you guys, of course. Make sure you have your notifications on the YouTube channel. Tell all your friends, tell your family, tell your mother I say hello. We love pro wrestling, and we'll talk to you next time. See you guys.